Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel. In the previous video, I showed you how to create a simple chatbot using transformers in Python. In this video, we are going to implement that Python program into a web application. So for demonstration, I will be showing you how to implement this into an ASP.NET MVC web application. So let's create a new Visual Studio project. You can use any version of Visual Studio, whether it's 2019 or 2015, or if it's 2022. And create a new project. And here you select ASP.NET Web Application, .NET Framework. You can also find it here. Here you can see ASP.NET Web Application. Now we name it as Naughty Bot Web, and we save it to I will be using .NET Framework 4.8. You can use any of the available .NET Framework. Now we select MVC. For this demonstration, we don't need any authentication, and keep everything as it is and create the project. Now we have this template for MVC ASP.NET project. Now we need a design for the chatbot. So we're gonna go to content and site.css, and we shall be required to change this design. So I got this coding from a website, and because I'm not a front-end developer, so I mostly focus on backend. You can find many examples on the internet for a good design. Maybe you'll find a better design for your chatbot. But for today, design is not our concern. Okay, so I have this site.css. Now we need to create the HTML page. So I will go to Views and Home, and I shall be using the default index page, and I will modify everything and put my chatbot code here. Okay, so we have this code for index. Also, we are not using any layout page because we have our custom chatbot design, and we don't have any other pages, so the layout view is not required for us. So we shall be using only single page, only single action in the controller. So that's why I created the whole page in a single view. So this is a HTML design. Also, we need jQuery. Let me see what version of jQuery I have in this template. Okay, this is 3.7.0. So So here, two jQuery files are imported, but we only need to import one. This is the min.js, and this is the original. So min.js is actually, it has less size in your hard drive. So I will be using min because it loads faster. So I will just delete the other one. Okay, now this code is ready. First, we shall be checking this view if it's working. So let's run this program and see what happens. Okay, now you see we have a minimalistic design for a chatbot, and it's looking good. Now we need to implement the backend. So first, let me explain you the JavaScript here. So JavaScript is actually targeting the input text, and whatever value it contains, it just replaces it with the generating response, and that input is saved into the input text variable. So this means that whenever a query will be written into this box here, like anything written here, it will be saved to a variable, and this will be replaced by generating response here, and this will be posted here, and it contains the time for the time it was posted. So this is the functionality of this JavaScript code. So we are saving the value here, and then we create a JSON format text, and we submit this JSON to our backend. So that's why this input text is then transferred to Python, and then the input is again redirected here. Now we also need to save the current time, as you have seen that when a message is posted, it contains time for that message. So then we create a message variable, and this is basically a div block in HTML, and it is assigned chatbot message class and user message. So as this is posted by the user, so that's why it will be having a user message class. And then the input message will be written here in a paragraph tag, having a class chatbot text, and having the sent time as the current time, and having the input text as it is entered by the user. Then conversation is actually the main div which contains these messages. So that conversation block will be having this child message. Then we post this query that is entered by the user to backend. So for this we are using Ajax query. So this method is post method, and it refers to home controller and chat action that we will be creating. This chat action doesn't exist for now, as you can see in controllers, home controller, and you see there are only index, about, and contact actions. We will be creating this one. The data type that will be sent is JSON, as we have seen. This data will be sent. So this is a JSON format. Application JSON, character set UTF-8, data JSON, stringify text. So this data will be stringified, converted into string, and posted to this action. Once it is posted, if it is success, then the data from the other side will be read, and current time will be recorded. And then again a message will be created, but this time the message will be having a chatbot class. So in the previous we saw it was user message, but this time it is a chatbot response. Here also in the same way, it will be posted as a paragraph tag having current time and data reply. So this, okay, let me explain you. This data is the data that is posted by the user, but here the data doesn't is not referring to this data. This data is referring to the successful received data from the backend. So if it is, I think it's confusing. Let me change it. Let me rename it here. I call it data received. Okay. So this is data received here. Okay. Now conversation will add a message, and then if we need to scroll, because if there are too many messages that are not, the new message is not showing up, then we shall be scrolling down to that message. And then the input field will again be assigned as null. So which means that when user entered the text, we replaced it with generating response, and once the response is delivered to the conversation, it is again removed and everything just cleaned up, and the placeholder will be showing up. So type your message here will be again visible to the user, so for the next input query. Okay, now we need to build the backend for this. So go to your controller and add a new action result, which will be called public action result chat, and this will be having input string. This will be having string input query, or so here we need a model to collect data from the view, as we are working in MVC, which is model view controller. So we need to build a model also. So I'm going here and adding a model. This model will be called as input text. So this sorry, let me rename this. This will be input query. Okay, this sounds better. So input query will be having an attribute, string attribute called input text. Get set. Okay, now we use this here as input query, which is IQ. So we name this as IQ. And then we need our Python program here. So we shall be required to include our Python program here. So I go to my files. Okay, from here we only need the CSV file and the naughtybot.py file. I will include these files into a folder here. So I create a folder called Python and paste these files here. Okay, now we have this Python code, but we need some changes in this code in order to work with our C# code. So as I have already made a video on this, on how to run a Python file from C# code, we shall be using that technique here. So for this, we need to import another file, another library, which is called arg parse. So this is argument parser. So this library helps us get arguments from CMD. So we're gonna build an argument parser. So we build an argument parser, arg parse. Argument parser, ap add argument. So this will be the query. So for a short it will be -q, and for long it will be $query, and this will be required. And for the help, it will say, please provide a query. Okay, that's it. args equals vrs ap parse args. So now we have constructed an argument parser which will collect this query from the CMD. Okay, now we go to our controller again. And now we shall be using the same technique, which is process. We shall be using system diagnostics process to run this file. This is the code for running Python script from Python folder. So I have renamed the file as script.py, and it is placed in Python folder, as we can see here. So this will also be having query, which is inputted by the user. So we shall be redirecting standard output and errors, and the process window style will be hidden, shall execute would be false, and blah blah blah. Okay, now we have we assign a reply by default as sorry I couldn't find anything. So this will be the default reply when nothing is found. Then we shall be having these two variables. This one is called summarized text, and this is question answer. So in the previous video, I showed you that when the Python script is run, it contains two flags in its output. So one is st, which appears just before the summarized text, and qa appears just before the answer to the question. So we wait for the process to exit, and when it is exited, we read the data. Also, we read the error. If data contains st, which is for summarized text, we put this text into the st variable. And when data has qa characters, then we put this into question answers, and we split the other things, like we get the summarized text from data, and here we only fetch the question answer part of the whole text, and everything else is ignored. Then also we check if QA length and ST length is greater than 0, so that we make sure that we got some results. So then we assign reply to, we make bold to question answer, and then we add a new line, and then we add the summarized text, and then we send this to the view back in a JSON result. So we get the query in JSON, and then we send back this as a JSON result. And we don't need to return this view because we are not changing the view. The view will be same, and only these instructions will be transferred from front end to back end, so that this whole thing is cleaner and no pages are visited forward and backward, so that we stay on the same page. Okay, now let me make sure a few other things. We provide the complete address for this CSV file. So first, let me check if this works, then we will change this if it is required. Okay, now I input a query. Let me ask the same question. What is hydroponic? And send. You see this is generating the response. Okay, it says I couldn't find anything. Let's change this path. We provide the complete path to the file. So I go to the current project, programming concepts. I copy this address and I put it here. But here we need to replace backward slashes with slashes, because Python works with slashes, not the backslashes. Okay, that's it. Okay, run this again. What is hydroponic? Okay, I think there's some problem in our Python code. So let me run this code from here and debug this. Let me go to terminal and we run this. Python script.py, and query is what is hydroponic. Okay, there's an error. It says no such file or directory found. Okay, now I forgot to put a slash here. Codes, then Visual Studio. Okay, now let's run this again. Okay, now it's working, but this time it asks for query. Okay, we also need to modify it here because we have provided the query into our argument parser. So I need to modify it a little bit. So this time there will be no need for a quit flag, no need for this, no need for this. Okay. Again, we don't need these things. And we have the query in argument parser, which is user query equals arguments query. Okay, now run this again. Okay, it says 36% match with the topic and 56% match with the key. And we got the result here. Okay, let me check a few things. If still there is need for, if most similar text is, so reprint. Otherwise this. Okay, so when we print sorry, then we don't need to print these things. Okay, let's run this again. Okay, this is working. Now let's see our chatbot here. What is drip irrigation? Okay, you see it says performance experiment, IoT enabled drip irrigation for performance experiment IoT enables drip irrigation and blah blah blah. So this will now you see it the question answer result has been bold here and the other summarized text is here. So you may find this output very unfamiliar, but actually it access data from the files we provided. So the quality of content depends on the quality of the text you provided. So my documents that are provided are not having a good quality of text and sentences and grammar. That's why it is having these problems. Otherwise, this will be working fine. Let me ask it another question. What is fading? Okay, it says it couldn't find. And let me see that file. Okay, this has forest fire data and hydroponic data. So our question was totally out of the context. So let me ask it another question. What is Arduino? Okay, now it provided us with the The Arduino IDE is used to assess how well Arduino functions. So the quality of the response totally depends on the data you provided. Otherwise, this chatbot thing is working fine. So I hope you might have enjoyed this tutorial. See you in the next video, inshallah. Take care. Allah Hafiz.